Hi. Uh, okay. So I don't have a very planned talk as such. I got a timer here. But I have a bunch of slides. I thought I work with images or I work with people and images, and a lot of it is always personal. Good? Okay. So a lot of it is always personal. There's always been like things which were about my life or people around me or like very immediately people around me. So I'm just going to like look at a few images I thought I'll put together that I could open up talking around. The first one is a tiny intervention. So as Bombay Underground, we are a collective of friends, activists, writers, artists who work with people in communities which are undergoing forceful change, which are kind of undergoing some kind of a almost illogical change which the authorities force onto them. So this was one of the interventions we did just a day before the Independence Day, 15th August. It was a plan my partner designed. Aki, she's there. But it was about freedom. Like we always keep talking about freedom. We all get very like excited about being patriotic and like India is doing this, India is booming, India is all of that. But we almost forget that like 99% of the country is in a mess. Like all the parts. Like you look at northeast, you look at the north, you look at the south, you look at the central, the supposedly Maoist areas and all that. There's a lot of mess, and we almost minus that on the whole thing of like, yeah, but the main cities are fine. Like the Bombay is fine, the Delhi is fine, the Bangalore is fine, and everything, or the Bengaluru and the Kolkata is fine. But then, or Mumbai also. But it's kind of messy. So this was like a tiny questioning of what exactly are we talking about when we talk about freedom. There's a whole lot of other personal, individual freedoms also that we talk about. This one was specifically because Aki comes from Gorkha land. It's another disputed space. People have been kind of trying to fight for their freedom against the state, which is West Bengal, the most communist sounding and the most free sounding people. But so yeah, this one was the first slide I thought I'll share, which was like an intervention in the public space, standing there for like a few bunch of hours, almost 5 hours at a stretch, almost not interacting to people so much because we had like a thing on our face outside VT station and outside Flora Fountain and outside Churchgate station. The thing read freedom with a question mark, and we had people standing by getting agitated about why are you doing this just a day before the Independence Day. I find it funny when people get excited about being Indians just a day before or when the cricket matches happen. But sorry for that. I'm scared about patriotism. Like it's just one of the reasons we give ourselves to like go and kill people around us, or like sometimes even punish people within our country, supposedly country. Yeah, I have a very random sense of slides here because I kind of function in a very random manner. I have like a scatter brain. I got 3 minutes. So this one was a wall of inspirations. Like I always built on, I feed from a lot of things that I feed off everybody. Like I'm feeding off his quote right away now, out there also. But like there's a lot of things that I keep like, and I think everybody of us does that. Like we all function in different codes. Like some of us have images as something, some of us have sounds as something, maybe some of us have actions as something. Like when I start going beyond the 12 minutes, I'll have actions happening behind. But like yeah, so it'll kind of I kind of feed off images. I kind of feed off this whole idea that almost nothing is original, like which is like again the whole idea of nothing is original is also like a not original idea. Like it's been told and shared by a lot of people, but like everything that's happening or has that I would try to do would have been tried to be done by somebody else. But then the only originality would remain that I'm personally doing it now. Like so maybe that is the only tiny bit which is like original. Like even if I do something exactly that she spoke about 5 minutes back, and if I try to talk it again, yet it'll be kind of original for my personal sense to like be able to go back to that phase and like talk out those same words, and maybe with the same heartfeltness. Maybe I'll not be able to do that. So I believe in like a lot of copying, a lot of robbing. Literally, like people get scared about like they spend half their life trying to avoid to show where the references came from. Like most of our lives go into that pattern of trying to hide, to like try to show but this came to me originally. This was like, yeah, it all comes through what you live through, but then it's fun that it still has like roots from a lot of places. And it's fun when you open up those roots also, because then you kind of open up to a lot of people. Like Andy Warhol is there, Chaplin is there, Van Gogh is there, Basquiat is there. There's a lot of people. There's Persepolis here. There's a soup can there. There's Vansky there. there's a lot of fun people. So this was another way in which kind of my mind works, and I thought I'll share. And a lot of people I might get excited by have a similar state of mind. And they're fine with robbing things or like using them. Uh, this is another piece that I do quite often. It's called garbage. We all collect a whole range of stuff. Newspaper articles, pictures, this, that keeps, things keep stacking into our spaces. Like I have a house which is like a tiny room, but it's filled with a lot of things that I should kind of every often open up to anybody else to come and share and like take out of it and maybe add to it. So I used to do this quite often few years back. I've been not doing it so often these days. I make zines nowadays, so I put out things like that. Like these are these tiny self-published material. They call zines. I'll talk about them in a bit. So this was a piece where anybody is invited to kind of take pieces out of it. I almost don't know what's gone in it. So I have like all these important things that I've gathered in the last few months, and it just goes into this dump yard because I just don't know where to filter what is important and no more important. So I kind of like let it go. And then a lot of times I'm left back with a lot of things because people are still scared to like take away without like they wouldn't know. Even if they like something, they'll maybe click it or they'll make notes of it, and then like they'll be scared to like take away somebody's property as such, or somebody's intellectual property, whatever. But like it's fun, like to just put it out like that. That's my doggy making art. But I also paint. I was trained as a painter, though I did a lot of other things after that. And I still get excited about like once in a while sitting down and putting my head into painting. Like it's a nice way to run away from people and like shut down myself from bits. But I also have a very funny way in which I see the way art has been now meant to be brought into people. Like art has become so exclusive, so about a certain set of things, and just so not art. If one had to be like looking at really what art could do, or the wonderful things what art could do. So this was like a tiny statement I did once upon a time when I was still like kind of excited about putting out my statements in a painterly manner. Now I do it more actively in interventions. That's Superman on a holiday. It's part of a series called Adventures of a Reluctant Superhero. I get excited by this plan of how people still wait for like some people to do a lot of things. And we still believe that there should be those some people, and the rest of us will still kind of be happily living our fine, different, simpler lives, which we call our like safer, easier, realistically normal lives. And we depend on this one-off people to come and. So what if these one-off people who kind of do the changes just decide to take a holiday, or they just get reluctant, they just don't want to do anything? Then it'll be fun because then everybody will have to kind of like start like get off their bums and like start working on something, which needs to happen very soon. Like we have a very exciting government now, which kind of induces us to like start working on things in the proper way, not the way it's communicating it. The slide is like slightly blurred, but this was the house I came from. It was a tiny one-room kitchen wala space, and it was a house filled with cats. And I miss those cats. Like it was taken away from us. So we had like about 27 cats at a point of time. It's a very important part of my brain now, the way I function, the way I'm like scatterbrain now, or like the fact that we kept moving houses, and the fact that we missed out a lot of our personal things every time we moved spaces. I thought I should share this because it kind of affects a lot of us like that. The next slide just talks about that also in a tiny way. And hence, we work with a whole bunch of people who go through similar flux, like a similar way of their houses being taken away. There's no like a follow-up or a feed, like anything that happens after that. And a lot of times kids are the worst ones who get affected, and women specifically. Like the men can still go pee anywhere and go do other things anyhow, but then the other kids get affected. They have to keep moving schools, they have to keep making new friends, they have to miss out on a lot of things. They have to just go through a trauma. So we work with kids. We have an exciting space in Dharavi called the Dharavi Art Room. We run the Art Room Foundation. We work with about 1,200 kids. You can go and visit our Facebook page, Dharavi Art Room, to find more about us. I'll not take away my minutes out of it. And we are here, so we can talk. I'm going to kind of go talk to more people also. I still keep getting messed up by the way schools function. And the way schools end up into being colleges and institutions and everything apart from that. There's always exceptions. There's always exciting people you'll meet out of institutions, but I still have a very serious problem with institutions. And the way they design us to like then lead the rest of our life in a certain manner. Like right from the beginning, we are taught that everything from a murder to a war to a whole bunch of other things are allowed and fine, which is kind of scary. So, and hence I just like I'm pretty messy when I work with elders or like when I interact with elders, and I'm like I have a short temper, but when I'm with kids, I'm like fine. I'm like normal. Okay, I have to finish now. This is money on the wall. I get excited. Yeah, I get excited by the plan that there's money could just be stopped from being spent and just be put on the wall. This was an incomplete dream of Andy Warhol also. Another intervention we did in the city, the fountain area used to be a lot of booksellers, which was just vacated on a certain given reason of beautification of the city. And then suddenly a lot of us now have forgotten. So we keep doing a whole series of interventions around that thing. This was reading books in public spaces for a certain time period. I enjoy that everybody's talking about recycling, like recycle this, that, everywhere. But like, let's talk about recycling money. It can get exciting. A lot of us have a lot of money, and we have a lot of people who don't have it. Like 99% doesn't have it, 1% has it. It'll be fun if people recycle money. Like they just kind of pass it around. I know it's kind of scandalous, but it can be funny. People will also be scared if you just give them free money. That's my partner, Aki. She's working on a poster series that we did called Poster Girls. It was about women and public spaces and how women need to kind of talk back to the advertisements which talk to them about becoming a certain thing, a certain color, a certain shape, a certain figure, a certain husband, all of that. Those are kids painting things on the walls in the city. My soft toys sometimes sit and have a meeting about what's happening in my head. So that's how I figure it must be happening. Like, I thought I should share it because like, there are days when I just feel this is how it should be. Though I know TV is such a bad thing for some people, but it's like, it's fine because there are days when I just feel I can't do anything, or like a lot of people around me can't do anything. It's just like wanting to not change ourselves. That's my last slide. So yeah, as excitingly, orgasms are fun. Excitingly, they are nice. But we do need revolutions. We need revolutions in a much more exciting manner than just Facebook revolutions, than just likes that we get for like talking nice things, or just the claps that we might get after the talks that we make. But we need like another whole real revolution, which is again going to be a very individual, a personal felt revolution. You and me kind of changing anything around you and me to start with would be something much exciting. I'm done here. Thank you.